Live look right now in Gaza City, where Israel Defense Forces saying this: it has carried out wide-scale strikes over the past 24 hours. The IDF saying the airstrikes hit Hamas infrastructure, including tunnels, military headquarters, and weapons warehouses.
And then there's this: IDF also saying it hit several terrorists, including a Hamas commander. The group reportedly also killing 5 members of Hezbollah in neighboring Lebanon, who tried to launch missiles and rockets against Israeli forces. So again, the south and the north. With us now, Major Sheff, an IDF spokesperson. Major, welcome to National Report. Thanks for coming on today. Can you talk to us about the significance of the fighting both down south and the north, specifically with Hezbollah?
Sure. Well, first of all, the IDF is entirely focused on taking out Hamas's leadership, Hamas's terrorists, Hamas's infrastructure. That is what we have been doing since the massacre of October the 7th, and that is what we will continue to do. It is clearly no longer possible for Hamas to be running Gaza, to be in Gaza, to be the threat that they are to Israel, to Israeli civilians. We saw the results on October the 7th. That will not happen again. And our actions are absolutely in line of the mission to make sure that that will not happen again. Hence, our taking out of that leadership, our taking out of that infrastructure in the pictures that you see there. In relation to the north, the IDF will brook no provocation at this moment in time from other Iran-backed actors. There includes Syria, and that includes those attacks from Syria. Israeli planes neutralized the targets that fired those mortars at Israel. We have zero tolerance for this provocation. We have zero tolerance for provocation from Lebanon. We've made that absolutely clear, and every provocation is met by the IDF reacting and neutralizing those attacks on Israel.
A couple questions for you regarding the United Nations, if we can. The first one is this. We want to play you a soundbite from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. He spoke yesterday where he called out your country, sir, Israel. Here's that moment.
It is important to also recognize the attacks by Hamas did not happen in a vacuum. The Palestinian people have been subjected to 56 years of suffocating occupation. They have seen their land steadily devoured by settlements and plagued by violence, their economy stifled, their people displaced, and their homes demolished. Their hopes for a political solution to their plight have been vanishing.
Do you have a reaction to that? There have been calls for the Secretary's resignation in light of those comments. Major, could you weigh in on that?
Well, I will say that as far as the IDF is concerned, there was an expectation that no decent person could possibly find any justification, any reason for the enormity of the attacks that we saw on October the 7th, the massacres, the beheadings, the burnings, the rape, the murders. There clearly is no justification. Decent people are extraordinarily clear about that. And as far as the IDF is concerned, we will make sure that the perpetrators will never be able to do that again.
Again, planning, we're hearing, the plans for a ground invasion could be imminent. Again, we don't have the exact details or the exact timing of when that might occur. But we're learning, sir, that the Israeli government says it struck infrastructure belonging to the Syrian army, including mortar launchers. The Jerusalem Post claiming the IDF rarely takes responsibility for strikes attributed to Israel in Syria. So why is this one different?
Well, I referred to this before, and I will say again that there is zero tolerance, absolutely no tolerance whatsoever from attacks from other Iranian proxies at this time. And the IDF is making it really crystal clear to everybody that we will respond immediately. We will neutralize the threat. We are focused on taking out Hamas, but we will make sure that any threat is matched with the actions that we need to take to make sure that that does not happen again. And, those countries, Lebanon, Syria, they need to ask themselves, very clearly if they want to risk themselves for murderous ISIS-like Hamas.
All right, got to leave it right there. Major Marcus Sheff joining us again from the IDF to give us the facts as he knows them. Thank you so much, Major. We do appreciate the time.
My pleasure.